Let's start by showing how teachers can set up a team and add students. Open up the Teams app by tapping on the icon as shown. To create a new team, tap on the cog icon at the top of the screen, and that will show you any existing teams you have. To create a new team, tap the plus icon and select class from the template list. You can now type in a team name and description, which should help the students to tell the difference between the different class teams that they may be in. It can be useful to include the teacher's name, or perhaps the subject of the class team, or the level that the students are at. Once you've completed your description, simply tap Done to create the team. Now to add members to the class team, and this can be students or teachers. The easiest way to add a member is to type their name or email address into the add box. You'll then be given some suggestions for who you might be looking for. Simply tap on a name to add that person to your class team. So as you can see, I've now added Mary Jane, and simply tap Done when you're finished adding members. And the class team is now created. There are some good options in the ellipsis icon next to the team name. This is where you would go to add or remove team members by tapping on the Manage Members icon. If I then tap on Mary Jane, I can choose to mute her, which means she can't contribute to the posts, or I could make her an owner or change her status in the team. You can also tap on the little person with the plus next to their head if you need to add more people to the class. As before, this is done by typing their name or email into the box and selecting them from the suggestions list below. So that's how teachers can create teams and add pupils as members. Let's go over to Mary Jane to see what that looks like for pupils.
The first thing I'm going to do is open up Teams on my device by tapping on the app. Once in the app, you will see at the left hand side all the classes I am a member of will appear here in a list. As Gavin has already added me to his class, you can see this here. If you're new to Microsoft Teams, you might want to pause the video here and give this a go with a colleague.
Now let's look at how a teacher can communicate with their class using the posts area of the team. It's important to note that this area is completely public, so anything posted here can be seen by all members of the team, and likewise if pupils are replying, it doesn't just go to the teacher. That reply will be able to be seen by everybody in the class. To begin a post, tap on New Post at the bottom and then type your message in to the box where it says type a message next to the plus sign. So I'm going to type, "Hi everyone, welcome to the new class team," and by tapping on the smiley face at the right hand side I can add an emoji after that, and then simply tap the paper aeroplane to post the message. And all the students in the class will then see this message and they have the option to reply. As you can see, Mary Jane has replied to my post. As well as posting text, if you tap on the plus sign next to the type a message box, you have the option to add web links, documents or photos to your posts as well. By selecting media in that menu or tapping on the camera icon, you'll get access to the camera roll on the device. So I'm going to attach these two images to a new post, and I can then add some text to this underneath and ask the whole class a question related to these images. And as before, tap the paper aeroplane to post. And that has now gone to the entire class. If I tap on See More, I'll be able to see both images and the text as one entire post, and I can then go back into the main posts area. Now any replies will be visible by every member of the class, so it's a good idea not to ask questions where there's a wrong answer and keep it open like this one. And right on cue, Mary Jane has replied to tell me she'd like to set her story in the jungle. So I'm going to tap on the ellipsis icon, and then I'm just going to use the thumbs up to let her know that I've seen her reply. Another useful feature is posting documents and handouts into the posts area. So by tapping on the plus icon next to type a message and then selecting attach, You can then go into your device and look for the document or the handout that you'd like to post to the team. So if I go on my iPad and then select this edgy novel handout, I can then share that with everybody in the class. I'm just going to type a message and then hit the purple paper airplane icon to share that with everybody in the posts area. And students can now go onto the team and tap on that PDF and it will open up the document for them on their own device. And Mary Jane has now added an emoji of her own to let me know that she has seen the attachment. One final feature of posts that we'd like to share with you is the praise option. So by tapping on the plus sign and selecting the praise rosette on the purple background, you can then share some positive praise with any of your pupils in the class. There's a range of different badges to choose from, and I'm going to select this awesome unicorn to send to Mary Jane. Now, in order to choose which student is going to receive the praise reward, simply type their name in the box at the top where it says to. You can then add some text to go along with the praise badge. Be aware once again that this is public for everyone to see, so it could be a good idea to give praise to the whole class for certain things being achieved instead of individuals so that nobody feels left out. Tap on next at the top right to see a preview of the post and then send to post that into your general area. And I can now see that Mary Jane has replied with a thank you badge of her own. So post is a great way of sharing things with the entire class, from information and updates to documents and handouts. Let's go over and see how this all looks from the pupil's point of view.
To see any posts or comments in the team, channels will be highlighted in bold to show that comments or posts have been made. If pupils have notifications switched on the device, they may receive a notification to tell them that there has been activity in the team. We can see that there's been a post made in the General channel. Tap on the General channel and we can now see the post. I'm going to reply to the post by tapping on the Reply button and typing my response using the device on-screen keyboard that pops up. I then tap the send arrow and you can now see my response under the initial post. To refresh this channel, I can see that Gavin has added in another post for me to look at. If I tap on see more, I can see both images and also the question that he has posed to me. I can then tap on reply and send him my response. I can also add an emoji by tapping on the smiley face in the box. I can select my emoji and then by tapping on the purple aeroplane I can send my response back. You can see that Gavin has reacted to my message by putting a thumbs up. If I go back to the General channel, I can see that Gavin has posted a PDF for me to have a look at in the team. Tap on the PDF to open up the edgy novel and I can read my assigned reading for that week. You can see that I can scroll through the PDF using my finger on my device. By tapping on the arrow at the top right hand corner, I can save it to books if I want to read it later. I can acknowledge that I've seen Gavin's post by tapping on the 3-dot ellipsis and selecting my emoji response. We can see that Gavin has sent me some praise for completing my tasks this week. I can send Gavin back some praise by replying I can tap add, then praise and select which praise I want to give Gavin. I'm going to say thank you. So I can type Gavin's name into the to box and I can add a personalised note to send to Gav. Again, the whole class will see this praise response. I then tap next and then send. Gavin will now be able to see that on his end.
If you now select Files at the top middle of this screen, it will take you to the Files area, which allows you to organise course content and resources into folders so that students can access them. Any files that you upload into the Posts area will automatically be saved into the Files area as well. As you can see, the Edgy Novel PDF has appeared here. Now the default folder is called Class Materials, and it's got a little lock icon at the bottom right of the folder, which means that it's read only. So if you go into Class Materials, you'll see a message that tells you that that is read only. Students can read these files, but only the teacher can edit them. If you want to share documents so that students can edit them, tap on Add at the bottom and select New Folder from the list. You can then type in a name for this new folder, so I'm going to use Term 1 Handouts and tap on Create to add a new folder to the class team. If I then tap on that folder, I will see that all channel members have access to files saved in this folder. I can then tap Add at the bottom and select Files. And that will allow me to then browse the files on my iPad or access the shared drives and the cloud spaces that I have available to find the handout that I want to share with the class. So by tapping on that, it's going to add handout.doc to this folder, which means that everyone in the team can now access this on their own device. They can read the information and also edit it and add to the document. To open a document, simply tap on the name and it will open up within Teams. Let's now go and see what the Files area of Teams looks like for students.
Next to the Post tab is the Files tab. Here I can find all the class materials and handouts that have been added by the teacher. Any files that have been added to the channels also appear here. In the class materials folder, I can see that these are read-only files, which means students can't edit these files. If I go back into the Files tab, I can see that Gavin has added a folder called Term 1 Handouts. I can open the handout by tapping on it. The handout will then open within Teams, and I will be able to read anything within the handout. If I want to edit this, I tap on the icon with the little pencil near the top right hand corner. The icon with the arrow coming out the top allows me to share this by airdrop, copy it or save it to my files for later. If I come out of the handout by tapping on the X and I tap on the ellipsis, I have the options to open, send a copy or open this handout in the app.
If you tap on More at the top right of this screen, you will see the second option in the list is for Class Notebook. And this is the area of Teams that works most like a digital jotter for students. If you tap on Class Notebook, you can set this up. From here, tap on Set up a OneNote class notebook and you'll be offered a blank notebook or from existing notebook. Now I don't have any notebooks already set up, so I'm going to tap on Blank Notebook. You will now see a summary of the different areas available in Class Notebook, and the main difference between them is who can edit documents in that area. So in Collaboration Space, everyone has editing rights. Content Library, only teachers can edit the documents. And the Teacher Only section is just for teachers who might be sharing that class or team teaching. And the Student Notebooks area is like the digital jotter, so only the student who creates in that area can see the work in that area. Tap on Next to continue setting up your class notebook. This next screen allows you to determine what sections go into a pupil's digital jotter. You have 4 to start off with, but as you can see you can edit these, so I can take out quizzes and change this section to exam work. If I wanted to remove the class notes section, I could tap on the X next to that and it would take that out of the student's workbook. I can then add a section by tapping Add Section and naming the new section I want in all students' workbooks. When I'm happy with that, I can tap on Create and the workbook will begin creating for the entire class. Class Notebook runs through OneNote, so if you've used OneNote, you'll be familiar with the functionality. And if you're using Class Notebook for the first time, you are learning how to use OneNote at the same time. When the notebook loads up, you will once again get information about the different areas of a class notebook. And you can pinch the screen to zoom in and out of this information and swipe your finger up and down the screen to move the document up and down. You start off with 2 pages. At the left hand side you have a Welcome to Class Notebook page which explains the editing permissions in each area of the notebook and a frequently asked questions area. And both of these pages have lots of useful information to help get you started. Tapping on the purple arrow to the left of the words Welcome and Edit will open up the options within the notebook for you. It will also split the screen into 4 columns. The one on the left hand side is the Notebooks column and you can add a new notebook at the bottom of that section. The next one to the right is the sections within a given notebook, and again you can add new sections by tapping plus at the bottom. The next column to the right is the particular page within a section of the notebook, and the column on the far right will show you the specifics of a page within a notebook. So if I tap on Collaboration Space, it will open up this section and I can then tap on the page within it and view the content of that page in a bigger window on the right hand side. And I can scroll up and down the page by swiping my finger up and down. To navigate through different sections and pages, simply tap on the name of a given section or page and it will show you the details of that page on the far right hand side. And you can see there's a little drop down arrow that shows you your options each time. And this is how to navigate different notebooks within Class Notebook. The welcome page in each section is going to give you more description of what that section might be used for, whether it's a collaboration space, whether it's a content library for students to read only and not edit, or this teacher only section where teachers can share planning documents and sensitive information that students can't access. The other thing you'll see in your sections list is the names of the students in the class. So I can tap on Mary Jane here and I can see the 4 sections in her workbook that we set up earlier. This will allow me to see what work she's completed, I could track her progress, I could give her feedback on it, and crucially no one else in the class can see this, so this is private between the teacher and the individual student who has completed the work. Now as a teacher I have the ability to edit this page, so I can go to the Insert tab at the top and I can type text in here, or tap on the file and the paperclip to add a document or a handout to this page for this individual student. So again I can browse the documents on my iPad to find the one that I need, and if I tap on handout.doc here, it will then add a copy of this document to this student's page, and that would be me sharing something that might be useful for this person to help them with a particular task. If you wanted to share a document with the entire class, it would take a long time to go through everyone and add it each time. So there is a faster way to distribute documents for an entire class, and I'm going to show you that next. Tap on the purple arrow, this time next to the word Handouts, to return to your Notebooks view, which allows you to see all of your notebooks and all of your sections. Now I want to distribute the Welcome to Class Notebook page to an entire group, so I'll navigate to that page and then tap on the Class Notebook tab at the top of the screen. I can then select Distribute Page from the option menu at the left hand side. And I'm going to select Group Distribution to give this page to different groups in my class. You'll now see a window opening up at the right hand side of the screen called Group Distribution, and this is where you select who exactly is going to get the Welcome to Class Notebook page in their student notebook. So I can create a new group and give it a unique name. I'm going to go for Red Group S1, and I can then select the students who are in this group and tap on Save at the bottom of the screen to save the group details. I can then tap back on the purple arrow next to Group Details to return to the screen where I select who will get the document. Tap the box to add a tick and select Next to then decide which section of their notebook this page is going to go into. So I'm going to tap on Handouts and then Distribute at the bottom of that window, and that page will now be distributed to everybody in the red group, and it will go into their Handouts section of their own class notebook. I've got the green tick and the word done, so I know that that has now gone out. So I can tap on the purple X at the top right of the group distribution window, and that will return me to my main notebook navigation screen. If I now tap on M. Patterson and select Handouts, I will now see that the Welcome to Class Notebook page has gone into that area of her notebook, so she can go in and read that information and edit it and add to it. I'm now going to tap on the Content Library section and select the Using the Content Library page. And I'm going to go to the plus page at the bottom left of the screen to add a new page. So here I'm going to create a quick handout that I'm going to then share with everybody in the class. So I can type in the title, which is Handout 1, then select the Insert tab at the top of the screen to search my camera roll for a relevant photo or image that's going to go along with this handout. So I'm going to pick this photo of a beach and tap Done at the bottom right of the screen to add it to my handout. I can now type a short instruction to the class beneath the picture. And I can always scroll on the screen by dragging a finger up and down, or pinch to zoom in or out of the handout. Now this is currently in the content library, which means students could see it but couldn't edit it. So because I want them to write something for themselves, I need to distribute this using the Class Notebook tab at the top of the screen and tapping Distribute Page. And this will allow the students to have a copy of the document in their own notebook where they can add their description, and then I can go in and see it. So as before, I can change the groups of students who are going to receive the document in case you want different handouts to go to different pupils in the class. So this time I'm going to create a blue group for this handout. And again, just tick the students who I want to be included in this blue group S1. And I can now decide that the blue group are going to have this page distributed to their handout section and tap Distribute to send it to everybody in the group. I'm again going to see a little progress bar to let me know that handout 1 is on its way. And then the green tick and Done appear, so I know that that has now gone and gone into the place that I've asked it to go to. So I can cross off this group distribution window at the right hand side, and once again just go into Mary Jane's Handouts section to check that it's there, and I can see she has the Welcome to Class Notebook page from the first distribution, and she now has Handout 1 in her own notebook. And the advantage of this is not only can she see it and read the information, she can add her own thoughts and ideas and description to this page. So now let's go over and see what this looks like from a pupil's point of view.
In Teams, pupils can access Class Notebook by tapping on the More tab and then tapping on Class Notebook. This will open in the OneNote app, and you can see here that I've been added to Mr. Morrison's Class Notebook, and I have various tabs: exam work, handouts, homework, literature. These can be set by the teacher, and pupils can then use the tabs to add their work. I'm in the Handouts tab, and I can see that Mr. Morrison has added a picture for me that I'm now going to type in my answer to. And I can see that Mr. Morrison has added some audio feedback for me based on my answers in Class Notebook. If I tap play.
Excellent work here. I was especially impressed with your use of adjectives. Warm and golden really brought the scene to life for me.
I can listen to Mr. Morrison's audio feedback, and I can also see that he is currently typing in my Class Notebook. I can also respond to Mr. Morrison by typing a message back to say that I've received that feedback. You can also see that Mr. Morrison has added in an image to show that he has acknowledged my response.
You could see from Mary Jane's video that she received feedback on the work she had submitted. I just want to show you how you add that from a teacher's point of view. First of all, navigate to the page you want to check by selecting the correct notebook and pupil name and the section of the notebook that the work is in. In this case it's in handouts, and I can see welcome to class and handout 1. So now within handout 1 I'll be able to read Mary Jane's response to the question that I set. It would be time consuming to do that for every single student. Now a faster way is to tap on Class Notebook at the top of the page and select Review Student Work. You can then select which area of the class notebook you want to look in, so for me it's handouts, and then I can select which page I want to review. And this would give me a list of all the students in the class, and it would then allow me to cycle through the students' pages one after the other without having to find them in the notebook each time. I can once again pinch to zoom out and scroll up and down the page. Now I want to insert an audio recording, so I'm going to tap Insert at the top of the screen, and Audio has the little microphone icon and the word audio next to it. Now as soon as I tap on that, the audio recording is going to begin, and I can record my feedback and see what level I'm speaking at, and then tap Stop Recording, and that's going to drop that file onto the page so that the student can see it at their end. There are many options for leaving feedback on a piece of student work. I could just type in text if I wanted to give basic comments on what I can see. I could highlight sections of the student's work. Audio clips obviously allows teachers to put across a lot of information in a short period of time. Another nice feature is that students can then reply if they wanted to ask for clarification on a piece of feedback or additional advice or guidance. It's really an interactive process, and it makes feedback so much more powerful. Another way of adding variety to your feedback is to use stickers, and they can be found in the Insert tab, and it's the smiley face. And you can see at the right hand side the stickers window is going to open up, and there's lots of different categories and different options. I'm just going to simply pick the green tick to leave on Mary Jane's work, and I'm just going to drag it across underneath the picture. So the feedback options are some of the best options available to teachers and students through Class Notebook. Class Notebook is excellent for formative assessment and ongoing student work. If you want to set something more like a summative assessment, the assignments feature can be really useful too. You can find this by selecting More from the top right of this screen and tapping on Assignments. That will then load your assignments home screen, and you can see any assignments that you have in draft form, assignments that you have assigned, and assignments that have been returned. Simply tap on each category to see the details. Tapping on the ellipsis at the top right will open up the assignment settings, and here you can set the default due time for all assignments that you set. You can decide whether new students should receive assignments created before they join the class or not, and you can make changes to the notifications and the fun stuff for each assignment. To create a new assignment, tap on the plus at the top right, and you can choose between an assignment or a quiz. A quiz is based on Microsoft Forms multiple choice questions. An assignment gives you a bit more flexibility in what type of documents you attach and how students respond to the assessment. So I'm going to tap on New Assignment to create a new assignment for this class. I can now add the assignment details, including a title. I can tap Add Category to categorise this, which would make my assignments easier to find at a later date. I can then add some instructions and perhaps success criteria in the next text box, and I can change the format of this text if I need to. The paperclip with Add Resources allows me to attach documents and resources that will help the class to complete the assignment. That's going to allow me to search for documents on OneDrive or on the iPad, so I'm going to attach handout.doc, and it will then attach that to the assignment, and each student can download that onto their own device. Tap Done to continue the details of the assignment. You have an option to add points as an incentive to the class to complete this assignment, and they will add up over the course of a school year. You can then decide which class the assignment is going to go to. So for me it's going to be Mr. Morrison's class, and you can decide if it's going to be for all students or just some individual students or groups. You can then select a due date by scrolling your finger up and down the screen, and you can also change the time that it's due. So I'm going to change this time to something a little bit more sociable and just scroll my finger down the screen to 4 o'clock. If you tap edit beneath date due, you can change some of the details of when the assignment will be set, when it will be due, and whether you're going to allow late submissions or not. Now you're ready to tap assign at the bottom of the screen, and that will set the assignment for everybody who you set it for. You see a notification at the top of the screen there saying that that assignment has now gone out to the class. And you can see it has appeared in my assigned category. Students will receive a notification telling them that they have received a new assignment, and details are also posted in the posts area of the team. From here I can tap on view assignment to see the details of who has viewed the assignment, handed the assignment in, or not handed the assignment in. So you can see here that Mary Jane has not yet handed in this assignment. When she clicks on the assignment though, her status changes to viewed. So as a teacher I know which students have looked at the assignment, and I also know when they've handed it in. Tapping on the ellipsis towards the top right of the screen next to the greyed out return icon gives you some other interesting options. One is to hide student names. Now this anonymises all students in the class, and it means that there would be no bias in the way that you mark or respond to the work. And you can turn student names back on from the same point of the menu. As well as the option to edit the assignment, you also have student view from this menu, and that lets you see what the student sees. And one very useful feature here is the immersive reader option. By tapping on the green play button, Immersive Reader will read out the instructions to a student.
Descriptive Essay 1. Category: Writing. Due the 26th of November 2020 16 o'clock.
Let's go over and see how assignments look for students in the class.
To view an assignment in Teams, pupils can access this in a few different ways. They can check the channel, use the Activity tab to check for notifications, or go straight to the Assignments tab along the bottom. Tap the View Assignment button. Here you can see what's been assigned. Let's open the new assignment by tapping on it. Here I can see the due date and time, the instructions I need to complete it, my reference materials, and the possible points. I'm going to open the handout by tapping it and editing it in Word. It's a read-only file, so first I have to save a copy to my device before I can edit it. Tap Save a Copy. Select a folder to save it in. Now you can edit it. Once I have edited it, Word Online saves the file automatically. I can go back to Teams and add this to my assignment. Tap Add Work. Select the file from the folder on the iPad. Once it's finished uploading from the device, tap Done. I can then tap Hand in the top right hand corner to hand in the assignment. You can see that I received some praise for completing the hand in. I can now go back to the Assignments page in Teams. If I refresh my assignments page by dragging my finger gently down the screen, I can see that the assignment is now in the Return section, meaning it is no longer due and it has been returned to the teacher for marking.
You can refresh the status of each student by gently swiping your finger down the screen to refresh. And once students begin to hand in the assignment, you'll then see the status change from viewed to handed in. I can now enter feedback and points for this student from this screen by simply tapping on the plus icon in the speech bubble underneath feedback. It will allow me to then enter some text which the pupil will receive as feedback. If you tap on the student's name, it will then take you into their assignment and you can view the work that they have done. The arrows in the top right next to where it says M. Patterson will allow me to then cycle through the student's assignments so that I can quickly check all the assignments that have been handed in without having to go back to the assignments page each time. And I can still access the feedback box from this screen, which is a quicker way to mark multiple assignments in one sitting. When I finish entering feedback and points for the student, I simply tap on Return, and that will then return the assignment to the student so that they know to check their feedback from the teacher. If I now tap Close to return to the main assignment screen, I can see that I have no assignments to return, and Mary Jane's assignment has gone into my returned pile, and I can see the feedback and the points from here. So assignments allows you to set and receive assignments from students, to offer feedback and allow them to view it, and this screen ultimately becomes a good tracking and monitoring tool so you can see all of the students' progress on all assignments throughout a term or a school year. Let's jump over and see what Mary Jane sees when a teacher returns an assignment to a student.
I can see that I have a Teams notification, so I am going to tap on the app and open it up. And I can see that the Activity tab has the notification, so by tapping on that I can see that my assignment has been returned. So I'm going to tap on View Assignment and I'm going to view the feedback that Gavin has given me. So tap on View Assignment and it will open the assignments page where I can read my feedback and see that I've been awarded the points for the assignment that I have handed in previously. When I go back to the Assignments tab and refresh the page, we can see that the assignment is still in the Returned section, but we can see that the points have been awarded, so it now says 1000 out of 1000. Please note that the chat function in Microsoft Teams is available for staff to staff. The function is disabled between staff and pupils.